and welcome to Talking Football. Today we've got a great show coming up for you. Cam Stace will now run through what we've got for you.
Yeah, like James said, we've got a really good line-up to this week, guys. We've got some reaction to this weekend's games, quite a few instances which are well worth talking about. Then we've got next week's predictions, which we're also going to have a look at. Then we're just going to have a quick look over the league table predictions, which we rushed a little bit at the end there. But yeah, finally we're just going to go on to talking about just a few things like Danny Welbeck dive. We got the Joe Hart versus Mancini, which was a big talking point this week actually. And we're also going to have a quick talk about Spurs as well and how they're getting on at the moment. So James is now going to quickly have a quick talk about our callers that are coming in this week.
So as Cam said, we've got two callers coming in. One about the Joe Hart versus Mancini. No, we don't. No, there will not be one about that.
I think you just did.
We've got one about Danny Welbeck, a Man United, big United fan. We've also got a Tottenham fan coming on to talk about Brad Friedel versus Hugo Lloris. All things Tottenham really. So Andre Villas-Boas, what he thinks, how the team's doing. So that'll come up later on the show, but not too long. What we're going to do to start it off, we're going to have our reaction to last weekend's games. So, Cam, would you like to talk about Norwich West Ham?
Yeah, I mean, I actually watched this game last weekend, early kick-off on the Saturday, and it was a little bit of a letdown, really, for something that had real good potential actually, because both teams, relatively even, play the kind of the same sort of football, but Norwich looked the more penetrative when they were actually playing, but West Ham had some good chances as well. So there's not really much to talk about in that game. I think Jaskalainen had a fantastic game in goal, was playing really well.
Great keeper.
So there's not really much you can say about that game. A little bit disappointing, really.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, we're coming now on to Arsenal Saints. That was a great win for Arsenal, 6-1.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they got lucky as well with the own goals, but they didn't. They still managed to carry it through and get some few goals, didn't they?
No, they did. They looked really good. They looked as a unit. Podolski looked great. Great free kick, brilliant. Cazorla was running midfield very well.
Yeah.
So now Stoke, Man City.
Yeah, that was a great game actually. I mean, very well played Stoke. Playing their usual football. Holding up Man City and getting them frustrated. And then taking their chances when they did, maybe a little bit of controversy in the Peter Crouch goal.
NBA style Mancini called it.
To be quite honest, I didn't actually think. I don't know. I didn't really see too much in it.
I agree with you there. Mancini said NBA style, but the letter of the law is it has to be deliberate. And he hit it a few times, but
he's a big guy. He's gonna have to. He has to control himself.
I think you actually called that one as well. So Cam got 4 correct answers in our predictions last week, and that was one of them. Yeah. So QPR 0, Chelsea 0.
Another disappointing game, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just very similar to the Norwich West Ham game. Dull. Chelsea really looking like they were very lacklustre this weekend. Actually, didn't really look too interested. Although had some superb chances, and just didn't manage to take them. But then again, on the other hand, QPR really had a few chances as well to take it.
Had a clear header.
Oh my gosh, honestly, I don't know.
Bobby Zamora with that poor back pass to check.
Yeah, exactly.
But then that game got caught up in the handshake issue, didn't it?
Yeah, that was. I don't know. To be honest, at the end of the day, if Anton Ferdinand feels that way and he doesn't want to shake their hand, then that's fair enough.
You have to respect him.
I mean, and what does annoy me though, me being a Chelsea fan, it frustrates me though because it's clear what John Terry said to him, and at the end of the day, I think he's an absolute outstanding captain, like I said last week. But
Is this classic? I
don't know. I just keep saying it. Yeah, but
I've just written it down on a piece of paper.
But we can't make Anton Ferdinand now the culprit at the end of the day, because he's the one that he's been called this, and if he feels strongly about it, he can't now start being the one that's getting it turned on him.
I agree. Yeah, if I was Anton, I wouldn't have shaken Terry's hand or Cole really, because Cole ratted Terry out, and sarcastic racism is still racism.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see how that makes any difference, but
yeah.
Fulham 3, West Brom 0.
Well, the Dracula had a great game, didn't he? Honestly, Berbatov.
Dracula.
Yeah, the vampire of Fulham. He was outstanding though, wasn't he?
No, Berbatov is a class act.
Yeah. That first goal.
Two top draw finishes.
That was a quality first goal, wasn't it? A little bit like Oscar's actually. The other night. What a goal that was!
Took it down, and he's got no momentum, but he's put it away brilliantly.
Exactly.
And that's what you get with Berbatov.
See, this is what frustrates me. Exactly. He's been sitting on the bench at United. He has one game, and obviously he did come on in the West Ham game, but still, he's had one start. And he scores 2 goals already, and which is the surprising thing is some attackers when they've been on the bench they kind of lose a little bit of form, but he's just come straight out and finished a fantastic goal.
He'll fit brilliant.
Exactly.
We said it last week on our show that he was one of the great signings, and he really is. He's lethal.
He really is.
Give him a chance in the 6-yard box, and I think West Brom had started very well since then. Before then, so it's a brilliant result for Fulham.
Right, so the Villa-Swansea match now. Villa really coming out their show actually under Ricky Lambert is managing Aston Villa. Under Paul Lambert. Sorry. He really looks like he's starting to transform that team now around. Last season, with all respect to Villa fans, they were playing some pretty dire football just to keep themselves up in the Premier League. But like I said, Paul Lambert's really doing a good job there now.
I mean, that was one of the surprises of the weekend because Swansea went on and on and on. How good Swansea were.
Jinxed it really. Sorry, Swansea.
How good Swansea were last week, and they were. The first 3 games, they were brilliant.
Yeah.
But Villa, they're an improving side, and they might actually be safe this year. I had them down lower parts, but mid-table potentially.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
They get Darren Bent firing. He's a great finisher.
Yeah, true.
Sunderland 1, Liverpool 1. This is one of my only correct results.
And honestly, just again, Liverpool are just really lacking at the moment, aren't they? Yeah. If you watch the young boys versus Liverpool during the week on Thursday in the Europa League, they played fantastic, Liverpool, but they really need to get John Joe Shelby on more. People used to rip it out of him because whose place did he take? He took Alonso and that. Well, he didn't exactly take that place. He was the fill-in.
He's definitely improved over the last year. It's incredible, but it's helping him all the football, so he's doing alright.
Sunderland playing well. Too. They've got a good side. So,
Stephen Fletcher, it's all about him at the moment. He's played 3 games, got 3 goals. Apparently he's had 3 shots and scored 3 goals every single shot.
Incredible.
But that's the sort of player Liverpool could have done with. He knows where the goal is.
Their team is outstanding though. I mean, their midfield, you've got Sessegnon, you've got James McLean, you've got you've got Larson, and you've
Adam
got
Johnson now
Fletcher. Yeah, it's incredible. Sunderland are really looking quite good actually.
Yeah, and then you've got Casimir. I mean, he's not known for his footballing ability, but he does a job. He'll pick up a few yellows.
Exactly.
3-1 Spurs against Reading, away to Reading.
One of my calls this weekend.
That's another right one
with that one actually. So because Reading scored in the last minute really, but it was a superb performance from Spurs, wasn't it? On JVB.
And Defoe's looking great this year.
Yeah,
he's quite single-minded, but sometimes that pays off.
Yeah, exactly. I'm quite glad they're giving him a chance actually. Because he's kind of got to that age now where a lot of strikers are just put on the side.
Yeah, he has been sat in the silence for ages.
Yeah, but fair play to him though, because he's obviously had so much going on in his life, and then to come out and be scoring goals like he is doing, it's just very, very respectable.
And they dominated it, absolutely dominated.
Yeah, they really did. Yeah.
There were times when Reading looked dangerous, but if Spurs had won that game, they'd have felt really hard done by.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Everton 2, Newcastle 2. I believe you watched this one.
Oh God,
great
honestly,
game.
I've never seen anything like it. Absolutely fantastic game. I'm not sure if anyone saw my tweet, but I went outside to do some recycling in the last 2 minutes, and missed both goals for goodness sake. So.
Never do the recycling, Cam. That's a lesson for you.
But Everton, at the end of the day, they really should have had this, and it wasn't because of their ability or their lack of football. Because they had 2 clear goals which should have been allowed. But this is the whole thing about goal line technology. And,
got to have it.
And the assistants shouldn't be making clear mistakes like that in such important games.
Well.
Like Fellaini's was definitely onside. Which was very frustrating.
I mean, it was a match of 2 strong teams this year. But Everton, they definitely deserved that win. I know there's a draw, but they could have edged it.
But with respect to Newcastle, though, without even they got on with it. Even though they got lucky in letting.
Bombarded brilliantly.
Yeah, exactly. It was 2 great finishes, wasn't it? Yeah.
And Wigan 0, Manchester United 4, which
my last
was Cam's
one,
4th correct one of the week. Unbelievable.
I don't know how I managed to get that one actually.
It was a great one.
No, it was good, wasn't it? I mean, like James has got, it's no Robin van Persie, Kagawa, Rooney, but they did fantastically. I mean, how good did Butler look?
Brilliant.
And who was the young man that came on as well?
Nick Powell.
Yeah,
brilliant as well.
Honestly.
Great goal, drop of the shoulder, and some real power behind that shot.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, like you said, that's almost their 3 best players weren't playing.
Exactly, yeah.
And they won it in style. I mean, 4-1 against Wigan is a great result.
Yeah, exactly. Well played.
They used their reserves well. Hernandez, Welbeck. So that's great.
Yeah.
So that's all the reaction from the weekend's games. Right, we're going to move on to Danny Welbeck. In that last Wigan game, what actually happened is he's completely dived.
I've never seen so. I mean, there's been a few pretty clear ones, in the past, but this is just beyond ridiculous dive. And he's an England striker, and you'd hope that him being an English striker, you would have given him a bit of leeway. But that was just beyond crazy.
It was downright obvious. I mean, diving is ridiculous. You shouldn't be doing that. We always
cheating,
brag on
yeah.
about it in England. No diving, don't dive. Players get booed if they dive.
Yeah, exactly.
And Danny Welbeck's one of our own, and he's conned the referee out of a penalty. Thank God.
Yeah, they
Al
got
Habsi saved
justice
it.
was done, wasn't it? But still,
it's just not on.
It's
I mean,
not that,
he tried
it's
it
not
later on in the game as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You expect
yeah.
better from England players because we feel like we almost set the example, don't we?
Yeah.
That wasn't great.
Everyone watches our league, you know, and if they're watching an England striker do that, you know, then what are they going to think of us? You know, it really does frustrate me actually.
And we've got a caller who will be coming on the show to talk about that point right away. So we'll get him on for you now. There you go. So this is our caller. Would you like to introduce yourself, mate?
Yes, this is Varun here, and I'm from Mumbai, India.
Fantastic, mate. So Varun's a Man United fan, and he's going to just talk about the events that have happened this week. It's been quite an eventful week for Manchester United, actually. And we've just been talking about the Welbeck dive, actually, Varun. What did you actually make of it?
Well, it was a dive, no doubt about it. It was a dive.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Sir Alex Ferguson would have had some words with Welbeck. In last year, it happened with Ashley Young, and he wasn't happy with it. But I didn't think it was smart enough of LFC to go and challenge for the ball like that. I mean, if you look at the video, it was clear that when Welbeck entered the penalty area, the ball wasn't at his feet. It was around half a yard in front of him. And LFC could have easily cleared it off. Or you can say that he could have even forced Welbeck's angle to be tight, but rather he went for the ball. And when you go for a ball like that, when you try to get hold of the ball, there's always a chance that you end up making contact with the forward. And the minimum contact is what the forwards look for.
Exactly.
You know, to tumble down to the ground, and it's very difficult for the referee.
That's absolutely right.
It's a great point.
Al Habsi was very reckless in the way he came out. He ran out of speed, and Welbeck really wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
But he barely touched him. He pulled out.